Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm Richard Cole. This is Amari Music Talk, and looks like Diamonds and Pearls is the gift that keeps on giving. Alright, so today we were surprised by the release of one of the latest vault tracks from the upcoming Diamonds and Pearls box set, which is going to be released on October 27th of this year, and had a chance to listen to it, and these are sort of my reactions to the track. Basically it's a vault track. This is apparently take 2 of the song Cream, and it I think one of the comments I saw online that it sounds more like a live rehearsal. We do know that most of the tracks for Diamonds and Pearls, this was more of a band situation, kind of similar to Lovesexy. So very few tracks on the actual Diamonds and Pearls album are the classic, produced, written, arranged, and performed by Prince by himself. So I can see, it's them pretty much kind of working out the song. I do like the rawness of it. Kind of, and this is a small criticism of the Diamonds and Pearls album. To me, it was a little bit too polished on it, but I think that was the goal. That's why I say it's kind of more of a nitpick, because that was the aim of it. To me, I think Prince being as accessible and as commercial as possible on that album, to me, was the sort of artistic statement, as opposed to previous albums where there was a concept, or there was some type of artistic statement attached to it, or trying to go so far to the left. But with this album, it was designed to be more accessible, to reach the widest possible audience. And given that, even though I think most, or not most of it, but some of the tracks were recorded in, say, like studios in London and in Tokyo, I think a lot of the work was still done at Paisley Park, if I'm not mistaken. So with the sort of state-of-the-art studios for that time, that kind of clean and polished sound, especially for the 90s, is definitely to be expected. But again, I do like the rawness, where it's really just practically just stripped down to its bare bones. To me, and of course I have to listen to it some more, but to me the standouts were the drums, the guitar. It's weird not hearing sort of the call and response background vocals, or the Rosie Gaines sort of ad libs on the track. So it's weird not hearing those be a part of that. But again, this is take 2. This is probably minus the additional overdubs. I'm not sure which take or combination of takes ended up being part of the final master. But again, this is a vault track, and to me, like I said, I don't think every single track that's in the vault is this, like, mythical, polished, pristine, near finished. I think a lot were finished. They just didn't make the cut on certain albums. There are tracks where they sound near perfect, but they're just a final mix, or overdub or 2, or final definitive vocal away from being perfect. And you have material like this where they're kind of run-throughs. And this is the type of kind of rawness that you expect on other artists' legacies. I think the beauty with Prince is that there are so many sort of quote-unquote finished songs in the vault, or like I said, songs that are a vocal overdub or a final mix away from being perfect. That there's more of an abundance of that compared to other artists, say, probably with the exception of maybe Stevie Wonder, or Frank Zappa, or an artist of those caliber, where there's a lot of stuff that's in the vault. that you can just continuously put out fresh albums forever. But like I said, I do like the track. I love the rawness of it. Like I said, looking forward to kind of listening to it again. Try not to get too deep into the leaked tracks because I'm looking forward to the Diamonds and Pearls box set that's coming. And I think strategically for the estate, this was a good move because Diamonds and Pearls is the upcoming release. We got caught up in the Classic Pop magazine article about Purple Rain, the possibility of a definitive 40th anniversary box set. We've also had a leak because there's been no official word for a release date for the Purple Rain box set. There is a book that you can pre-order on Amazon commemorating the 40th anniversary. But again, that hasn't been given an official press release that I know of from the Prince estate from that. So with those two leaks and rumors and speculation, that was to me was starting to kind of overtake, and I'm guilty of it too because I've done 2 episodes covering Purple Rain within the last week. So I think this was a very strategic move on the part of the estate to shift the focus back to Diamonds and Pearls. And we're not going to get into this whole era division or ageism thing with the Prince eras. We've gone literally from nothing within the past year to now we're getting some stuff. And like I said, I think it's time to shift our focus as a fan base back to let's start celebrating these releases. And again, if a particular release, either way, if you're more of a fan of Diamonds and Pearls or if you're more of a fan of Purple Rain, or any era before or after or in between, your time is coming and it's going to take some time. They're just getting things back on track. And regardless of how you feel the estate should run, trust me, there are dozens of other estates I can rattle off a list to where not everything has gone smoothly, but over time, again, regardless of who do you think should run things, and regardless any artist, legacy artists, the releases are there. And if it's something that you want to lend your dollars to, then by all means do that. If you feel like you're one of those people, if you got all the bootlegs and you're satisfied with the quality of those, then good. But like I said, let's shift our focus back to the fact that they're starting to get the ball rolling. And this is really barely just year, I would say, 1 in terms of actual physical product being announced, actual physical product being, announced. So this is a good time to celebrate and embrace it all. And I think it was a good move to start with something like Diamonds and Pearls. And I think it's 40th anniversary of Purple Rain coming up next year. That is also a no-brainer choice. And what we get after that, the possibilities are endless. But back to the Cream Take 2 track. Again, I like it. To me, like I said, it's not like where the other Insatiable was a bit different because that seemed a little bit more polished. It just needed editing. Which the choices for the final mix for the album were some pretty good choices. The other song, Alice Through the Looking Glass, I thought was one of those, again, a final vocal or an overdub away from being absolutely perfect, but it is still funky as all get out, and I still enjoy it. This is a little different, but I like it because it's kind of raw, and it's, for me, like, I've got raw, avant-garde, kind of funk, stripped down tracks myself. So I like it just on that basis alone. And I get it. It's Take 2. and you kind of get to see what the process is. So how it went from, how it went from take two to the final mix on the album. Those things are fascinating, and I think that's something that not only deep cut Prince fans will enjoy, but if you're a fan of songwriting, or if you're a fan of recording, the recording process, whether you're a musician or you're just fascinated by the process, I think including these type of things in the box set would be very enjoyable. But then, what do you think about it? Did you enjoy listening to the track? Are you happy with the direction and the promotion of Diamonds and Pearls? How do you think the state so far is doing? Are they're kind of proving themselves now after all the silence and all the other stuff going on before? Leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. And until the next time, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I announced in the previous video changes to Amari Music Talk, as well as an upcoming new podcast, the Purple Notes Unveiled podcast. So check out that video to get the details. And again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of those two shows, and also become a Patreon supporter, because the Purple Notes Unveiled podcast in its entirety, that will be the only place you will see the complete episodes for that. So do all of that, and until then, create your day and create your life. Peace.